Andyan naman mga reference of business na mahaba ito.
Oo nga. Pero kanda.
Omnibus.
Hindi.
Installment? Ano? Ganon? Release.
Pero matagal pa rin.
Gasto, Alvarez. Ganito, no? 2 minutes.
Okay, Hari, tsaka okay, Rogelio. Oh. Jeff, may journal lang. Piniprito mo. Andito na, sir. Nakaready na po. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Saka po yung roll call. Gusto di ba yun? Wala pa naman sa siya. Sir, isa pang photo, sir. Oo nga, sir. Kahapon eh. Napagano'n. Unless may question, dinidiffer muna natin yung role. Oo, sir. Oo, sir. Wala pa naman technical. Wala pa naman sa technically tayong minority. Wala pa naman technically minority. Yes, sir. Eh di, ano sir, hintayin po natin umangal. Umangal, di hinto tayo. Wala naman sa umangal, di tuloy po natin. Sige sir, opo. Ano yung pagaling ka naman sa improve presentation? Sir, 4 o'clock na po.
Nantay ko sila. Session is called to order. Please rise for the singing of the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bakaw, ay nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagtitigil, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng waraming pagsikta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga akin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please remain standing for our invocation to be done by Representative Marlene Primicia Sagaba, 2nd District of Pangasinan.
My esteemed colleagues and fellow members of the House of Representatives, friends, let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord God, God of all nations and the supreme ruler, as we commence this 17th Congress. We thank you for bringing us all together to fulfill our duties as your faithful servants. With complete trust and confidence, and by your grace, we humbly seek your blessings and guidance. You have called each and every one of us to lead our nation and serve the people. With the new leadership, help us build this house, this nation, and the whole of humanity, that we unite all our efforts for the good of the people. As we embark on our work, may we keep in mind the blessing of opportunity to lead and spread your word. Lord, grant us your infinite wisdom, that in all our work we may be guided by your gift of knowledge. Grant us calmness, that in our actions we cast aside our personal intentions to the greater good of all. Grant us objectivity, that in all our decisions, justice and fairness emanate from us. Make us work conscientiously with prudence and patience. May we always be faithful to you and bow to your will. May our families be the genuine source of our deepest joy and fulfilling love. Lord, we seek special blessings for our leaders to bring us to prosperity. Bless us all, the representatives of the people, to pursue our vision for them. And for all of us workers, we pray for patience and strength as we offer our time and talent to you. We pray for the Filipino people, that our differences in beliefs and advocacies will not separate us, but will help us understand our own individualities. We lift up to you, Lord, our efforts as we be reminded that all we do, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for your greater glory, and for the service of humanity. In the end, we pray to make us instruments of peace, to unite us all, and keep our beloved nation with you. All this we pray in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord Almighty. Amen.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader,
I move that the session be suspended.
there's a motion to suspend. Motion is suspended.
Anyway.
So ano na, boss? Juliet Marie. Sir Harry, sir, magsasalita na rin po. Apo, sir. Po, saan si Pilar ngayon? Apo, sir. So, Pilar na siya, boss. Yung ano, binigay ko sa'yo yung bill kahapon, ha? Usual mo. Envelope, binigay ko sa'yo. First and first. Ito ba, binigay ko sa'yo, dapat sa nasa brown envelope siya. Wala.
Michelle!
Sabi ko po, signature na sa'yo. Baka ano na sa gamit mo yun. Ang core natin ngayon, 149. Ah, hindi, 292 pala. 292. 292 di 147. Sir, wala pa po. Nagpapa-physical pa po ako, sir, para sigurado po. Oo, sir. Oo, sir. Pwede sir. Yes, sir. Pwede naman po kayo mag-declare. Hindi, wala. Monday tayo kahapon eh. Leave of the house, sir. Ah, sir. Opo. Yes, sir. Ulit sila.
Deputy Minority Leader. Para sure na nga, nakaganyan si Presidente.
Wala po. Yesterday he was here. Dapat nga po pupunta namin yung kahapon. At nag-ginajump sa
Nasaan na yung agenda natin?
araw-araw. Kala ko ba magkaibigan tayo? Tama po. Agree po. Ano po? Batch 22. Pwede. Anong course po? Hindi po. Pero School of Management po.
Session resume.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of members.
Secretary General will call the roll.
Roll call of members, honorable representatives. Abad. Abaya. Abayon. Abellanosa. Abu. Abueg. Acharon. Akop. Acosta. Acosta Alba. Adjong.
Advíncula, Agaraw, Agabaw, Aglipay Bilyar, Akbar, Albano, Alcalá, Alejano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Andaya, Angara Castillo, Antonino, Antonio, Aragones, Arbizon, Arcillas, Arenas, Atienza, Aumentado, Bagaw, Bagaching, Bagilat, Banal, Barbers, Barsaga, Batawil, Batocabe, Bautista Bandigan, Belaro, Belmonte Feliciano, Belmonte Jose Christopher, Belmonte Ricardo, Benitez, Bernos, Bertiz, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolivia, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo Anthony, Bravo Maravida, Brosas, Bulot Bigtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto Rubiano, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cari, Casilaw, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredinil, Catamco, Cayetano, Celeste, Serapica, Cirilles, Chavez, Chipeco, Co, Cuanco, Collantes, Cortés, Cortuna, Cosalan, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Dalipe, Dalog, Dasa, De Jesus, De Venecia, De Vera, Defensor, Del Mar, Del Rosario, De Losa Montalia, Dimaporo Abdullah, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Duwavit, Durano, D, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Eusebio, Evardone, Fariñas, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Periol, Florendo, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Pentebella, Garbin, Garcia Gwendolyn, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Albano, Gary Richard, Gary Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Heron, Goana Cristina, Gomart, Gomez, Gonzaga, González Alessandria, González Aurelio, González Fernando, Gorizeta, Gullias, Hernández, Herrera D, Hofer, Alesos, Javier, Ko, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagman, Lanete, Laugan, Lasatin, Liachon, Lee, Lim Kay Chong, Lobrigat, Lopez Benhur, Lopez Carlo, Lopez Manuel, Loyola, Makapag-Alaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malanyaon, Malapitan, Manalo, Mangawang, Mangudadato Suharto, Mangudadato Sajid, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matugas, Miliana, Mending, Mercado, Mirasol, Montoro, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Carlo, Nolasco, Huaminal, Ocampo, Olivares, Ong Edwin, Ong Henry, Ortega Pablo, Ortega Vini, Pacquiao, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panganiban, Panotes, Papandayan, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Primicia Sagabas, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Relampagos, Revilla, Robes, Rocamora, Rodriguez Isidro, Rodriguez Maximo, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Romualdo, Roque Harry, Roque Rogelio, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sahali, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Salon, Sambar, Sandoval, Santos Recto, Sarmiento Cesar, Sarmiento Edgar, Savillano, Sema, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Swansing Estrellita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez, Si Alvarado, Tambunting, Tan Angelina, Tan Milagrosa, Tan Shirley, Tejada, Teves, Chanco, Ting, Tiño, Tolentino, Treñas, Tugna, Turabi Nataman, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Unico, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velarde, Velasco, Velasco Catera, Veloso, Vergara, Villapuerte, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suárez, Villarica, Villarin, Violago, Yap Arthur, Yap Melesio, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Maricarmen, Zamora Ronaldo, Zarate, Subiri. The speaker is present.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the session be
Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 256 members responded to the call.
With 256 members responding to the call, the chair declares a quorum. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the session be suspended.
Session is suspended.
personal dito, boss. Ay,
Sir, hawakan mo na lang ito muna.
bigay ko kay Boss Mix. Ay, sir. Tolits. Tita. Excuse me, sir. Javier.
Yes, ma'am.
hanapin ni Manong Excel. Ha? Si Kong Shara ng pinuntan. Sa Kong Alin? Si Kong Shara yung sulat natin. Bibigyan mo ako. Yung sulat. Yung sulat nila yun. Distribute na natin.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the approval of Journal Number 1, dated July 25, 2016.
Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Secretary General, we proceed with the reference of business. Please read the resolutions, the bills, and other matters.
Reference of business bills on first reading. House Bill number 1, reimposing the death penalty on certain heinous crimes. Representatives Castro and Alvarez.
Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 2, amending Republic Act 9344 as amended by Republic Act 10630. Representatives Castro and Alvarez.
Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 3, granting President Rodrigo Roa Duterte emergency powers to address the massive traffic congestion in the country. Representatives Parinas, Alvarez, Andaya, Duavit, several others.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 4, creating circuit criminal courts, granting them exclusive original jurisdiction to try and decide certain criminal cases. Representatives Parinas, Alvarez, Andaya, Duavit, several others.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 5, providing for civil penalties for persons driving under the influence of alcohol. Representatives Parinas, Alvarez, Andaya, several others.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 10, establishing juvenile justice courts, granting them exclusive original jurisdiction. Representatives Parinas, Alvarez, Andaya, Duapit, several others.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 11, modifying the compensation position classification system of civilian government personnel. Representative Belmonte Feliciano.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill number 16, amending Section 1 of Republic Act 9346, Representative Biason.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 17, institutionalizing a conditional cash transfer program sa Biason.
To the Committee on Poverty and Alleviation.
House Bill 21, advising and sustaining science, engineering, technology, research, and education and Abaya.
To the Committee on Science and Technology.
House Bill 22, promoting consumer protection, the purchase of mobile communication devices, Abaya.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 26, directing the reduction of electricity rates to the utilization of government shares of Umali.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill 27, amending sections 3A and 4 of Presidential Decree 1865, subject Umali.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill 31, providing for a Magna Carta of the Poor, Representative Del Mar.
to the Committee on Poverty and Alleviation,
House Bill 32, strengthening the right of citizens to information held by the government of Del Mar.
to the Committee on Public Information,
House Bill 37, establishing free irrigation programs of Yap Arthur.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill 38, declaring Metro Manila Traffic Crisis National Emergency of Yap Arthur.
to the Committee on Metro Manila Development,
House Bill 42, removing the conditions for the condonation of all unpaid taxes of Kimbo.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 43, granting fixed monthly honorarium and additional benefits of accredited barangay health workers of Kimbo.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 48, establishing marine protected areas in all coastal municipalities and cities of Fortun.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill 49, preventing controlling pollution from ships of Fortun.
to the Committee on Ecology,
House Bill 53, strengthening the Philippine Comprehensive Policy on HIV and AIDS prevention of Bagao.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 54, regulating rational exploration, development, utilization of mineral resources of Bagao.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill 58, institutionalizing support mechanisms for public school teachers of Tino and Castro.
to the Committee on Education and Culture,
House Bill 59, lowering the optional retirement age of public school teachers of Tino and Castro.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 64, strengthening compliance with occupational safety and health standards of Nograles.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 65287, creating the Department of Sports of Nograles and Sambar and Romero.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Bill 69, collective investment schemes laws of Salceda.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs,
House Bill 70, declaring April 3 of every year special non-working holiday in Albay of Salceda.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill number 74 and 320, establishing special education centers for children with special needs of Vargas and Primicia sa Gabas.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 75, strengthening the right of citizens to information held by the government of Vargas.
to the Committee on Public Information,
House Bill 80, strengthening compliance with the occupational safety and health standards of Aglipay Villar.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 81, calling for constitutional conventions of Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Constitutional Amendments,
House Bill 85, establishing separate city schools divisions of Benitez.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 86, amending Section 150 of Republic Act 8424 of Halosos.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 91, instituting a compulsory insurance for members of the Board of Election Inspectors of Cortuna.
to the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms,
House Bill 92, providing for the basic law for the Bangsamoran, abolishing the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao of SEMA.
to the Committee on Local Government and Committee on Muslim Affairs,
House Bill 96, converting the bed capacity of the Dinaig Municipal Hospitals of SEMA.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 97, amending Chapter 3 of Republic Act 8353 of De Jesus and Brosas.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill 102, establishing the Coconut Farmers Industry Trust Funds of Tan, Angelina.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill 103, instituting income tax reforms of Tan, Angelina.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 108, establishing the Emergency Management Agency of Alejano.
to the Committee on Government Organization and to the Committee of National Defense and Security,
House Bill 109, integrating all agencies and offices on veterans' welfare of Alejano.
to the Committee on Government Organization and Committee on Veterans Affairs and Welfare,
House Bill 113, regulating the rational exploration, development, utilization of mineral resources, Representatives Bagilet and Pertun.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill number 114, mandating the completion of the land acquisition and distribution component of the CARPS of Bagilat.
to the Committee on Agrarian Reform,
House Bill 118, providing for the establishment of drug rehabilitation centers in every city of Tan, Angelina.
to the Committee on Dangerous Drugs,
House Bill 119, upgrading the minimum salary grade level of teachers of Tan, Angelina.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill House Bill numbers 123 and 358, creating the Mindanao Railways Corporations of Dobregat and Rodriguez.
to the Committee of Government Enterprises and Privatization and the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 124, declaring the Pasunaka Watershed Forest Reserve in Zamboanga Sea as protected areas at Dobregat.
to the Committee of Natural Resources,
House Bill 129, establishing a one-stop shop, institutionalizing the coordination of transport industry agencies at Tambunting.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 130, prescribing a code of conduct for demolition and eviction of homeless and underprivileged citizens of Tambunting.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill 135, providing for the establishment of crematories, Representative Batocabe, Garbin and Co.
to the Committee on Social Services,
House Bill 136, reducing the optional retirement age to 56 years old, Representative Batocabe, Garbin and Co.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 141, revitalizing the coconut industry, Representative Noel.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill 142, providing for comprehensive hazardous and radioactive waste management, Representative Acosta Alba.
to the Committee on Ecology,
House Bill 147, reapportioning the lone legislative district of the city of Bacolod, Gasataya.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 149, creating the Mega Cebu Development Authority, Reserve Del Mar.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 152, increasing the maternity leave period to 100 days, Representative Aglipay Villar.
to the Committee on Women and Gender Equality,
House Bill 153, providing for the protection of the rights of airline passengers, Representative Aglipay Villar.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 158, establishing the National Committee for the Prevention of Torture, Representative Belmonte Jose Christopher.
to the Committee on Human Rights,
House Bill 159, strengthening the right of development to expropriate lands, Representative Belmonte Jose.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill 165, authorizing the sale of parcels of land in Barangay Cruz Naligas, Representative Belmonte Feliciano.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill 166, prohibiting the establishment of political dynasties, Belmonte Feliciano.
to the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms,
House Bill 171, establishing the Filipino Identification Systems of Nograles.
to the Committee on Population and Family Relations,
House Bill 172, providing assistance to new graduates of Nograles.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 177, ensuring the preservation and management of protected areas, Representative Ramirez Sato.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill 178, designating casino operators as covered persons under Republic Act 9160, Representative Ramirez Sato.
to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries,
House Bill 182, institutionalizing energy efficiency, Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Energy,
House Bill 183, increasing the age bracket of the household members, Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 183, providing for the restructuring, condonation of unpaid interest, penalties, and surcharges on loans, Representative Bravo and Canama.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food, and the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources,
House Bill 188, providing for the mandatory appointment of cooperative officer in every LGU, Representative Bravo and Canama.
to the Committee on Cooperative Development,
House Bill 193, enhancing the on-site protection of OFWs, Representative Vertiz.
to the Committee on Overseas Worker Affairs,
House Bill 194, expanding the coverage of anti-sexual harassment, Representative Vertiz.
to the Committee on Foreign Affairs,
House Bill 198-286, creating additional RTC branches in Leyte and Mountain Province, Representative Kari and Dalog.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill numbers 199, 200, 305, 400, 408, 420, 423, and 425, establishing various national high schools, Representative Kari, Vargas Alpozo, Belmonte, Jose Christopher, Escudero, and Kimbo.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 204, creating the Palawan State University System, Representative Abueg.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 205, converting the Governor Alfredo Abueg Senior National Technology and Educational Memorial High School, Representative Abueg.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 210, creating the National Diabetes Center and Foundations of Biolago.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 211, declaring sovereign banks of Biolago.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 215, establishing the Siargao Manpower Livelihood and Skills Training Centers at Matugas.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 216, amending Republic Act 10600, Representative Batugas.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 221, creating the National Water Resources Management Authority at Villarica.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 222, protecting the rights of internally displaced persons at Roque Hari.
to the Committee on Human Rights,
House Bill 227, establishing the Department of Overseas Filipino Workers at Singson.
to the Committee on Government Organization and Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs,
House Bill 228, prescribing the mechanisms to facilitate the disposition of idle government-owned lands at Singson.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill 233, establishing a free basic medicine assistance program sa Marcoleta.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 324, establishing the Barangay Integrated Development Approach sa Marcoleta.
to the Committee on Rural Development,
House Bill 238, appropriating 250 million pesos for the construction of the Governor William Chongbian National Highway sa Del Monte.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill numbers 239 and 240, converting certain provincial roads sa Almonte.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 244, further amending Republic Act 6728 as amended sa Angara Castillo.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 245, providing for free college entrance examinations sa Angara Castillo.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 250, amending Republic Act 4156 sa Bordado.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization, and the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 251, strengthening the right of citizens to information held by the government sa Bordado.
to the Committee on Public Information,
House Bill 256, providing a framework for the right to adequate food sa Roque Hari.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food, and the Special Committee on Food and Security,
House Bill 257, exempting from the population and land area requirements of the conversion of municipality into component city sa Loyola.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 261, exempting marginal income earners at Loyola.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 262, establishing the e-government at Villapuerte.
to the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill 267, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identities at Roman.
to the Committee on Women and Gender Equality,
House Bill 208, establishing a cancer treatment center in every region at Roman.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 272, mandating all electric cable and telecommunications companies to conduct periodic inspections at Roman.
to the Committee on Energy and the Committee on Information and Communication Technology,
House Bill 273, providing for light rail transport, monorail or bus rapid transit and any appropriate modern mass transportation at Del Mar.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 277, strengthening the regulation of employment foreign nationals at Nograles.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 278, establishing the Philippine Grain-Fed Agriculture Institute at Escudero.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill 282, increasing the bed capacity of the Luis Ora Memorial Regional Hospital at Dalog.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 283, declaring the municipality of Barlig in Mountain Province as tourism development areas at Dalog.
to the Committee on Tourism,
House Bill 291, regulating organ transplantation, Representative Abayon.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 292, imposing excise tax on sugar, sweetened beverages at Swansing.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 298, strengthening the barangays through support and barangay officials at Swansing.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 299, granting healthcare, retirement death benefits to professional Filipino athletes at Swansing.
to the Committee on Games and Amusement,
House Bill 304, promoting the welfare of the PNP and AAP sa Macapagal Arroyo.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill 306, establishing the Calayan Airport and Calayan Group of Islands at Vargas Alfonse.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 314, amending the average annual income requirement for a municipality cluster barangays to be converted to component city, Representative Garcia, Gwendolyn.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 315, amending Article 75 of Title 4 of Executive Order 209, Representative Garcia, Gwendolyn.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill 321, regulating the importation, manufacture, distribution, and sale of children's toys, school supplies, child care articles sa Primisia Sagbas.
to the Committee on Welfare of Children,
House Bill 322, providing an increase of and an automatic adjustment mechanism sa Escudero.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill 326, providing for Magna Carta of workers in the informal sector sa Escudero.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 327, creating the Commission on Immigration sa Romualdo.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization and Committee on Justice,
House Bill 332, prohibiting the establishment of political dynasties of Sarate, Tino, and several others.
to the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms,
House Bill 333, restructuring the income brackets and rates of tax imposed on taxable income of individuals of Sarate.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 337, creating the Community Health Worker Education and Training Programs at Villarin.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 328, increasing the penalties for the refusal of hospitals and medical clinics at Villarin.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 343, the Budget Empowerment Control Act, Seb Romualdez.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 344, creating the Department of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Seb Romualdez.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 349, promoting advocating mental health, Seb Kimbo.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 350, strengthening the Office of Solicitor General, Seb Kimbo.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 355, mandating the creation of Typhoon Code of Practice, Seb Aglipay Villar.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation and the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 356, increasing the penalties for non-compliance with the government prescribed minimum wages, Seb Aglipay Villar.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 363, increasing the additional income tax exemption for each qualified dependent from 25,000 to 50,000, Seb Zamora Maracarmen.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 364, establishing the 2nd District Engineering Office in Compostela Valley, Seb Zamora Maracarmen.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 371, making the National Women's Day a non-working holiday, Seb Brosas and De Jesus.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 372, creating a National Women's Museum, Seb Brosas and De Jesus.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 377, providing steeper penalties for the crime of theft, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 379, defining the crime of stalking, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 385, separating converting Rizal National School of Arts and Trades, Seb Mangawang.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 386, converting the National Center for Geriatric Health, Seb Ocampo.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 391, protecting and promoting the rights of indigenous peoples, Seb Panganiban ND.
To the Committee on Indigenous Cultural Communities and Indigenous People.
House Bill 392, declaring October 29 a special national non-working holiday, Seb Panganiban.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 397, enhancing the inclusiveness and strengthening the disaster risk reduction, climate change adaptation linkages, Seb Belmonte Jose Christopher.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 398, establishing Tandansora Senior High School, Seb Belmonte Jose Christopher.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 405, increasing pensions under the SSS, Seb Abellanosa.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
House Bill 406, establishing a fish port in Abulog, Cagayan, Seb Vargas Alfonso.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 413, prohibiting the issuance and use of number 8 protocol license plates, Seb Chanco.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Bill 414, mandating a 2,000 increase in the monthly pension, Seb Chanco.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
House Bill 418, strengthening the Code of Conduct Ethical Standards for Public Service, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 419, converting the Dr. Fernando B. Duran Senior Memorial Hospital, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 426, creating a Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Macapagal Arroyo.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 427, amending Section 5 of Republic Act 9225, Seb Macapagal Arroyo.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 431, institutionalizing a just and equitable disposition of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Charity Fund, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Games and Amusement.
House Bill 432, requiring public officials and employees to submit a written permission or waiver in favor of the Ombudsman, Seb Escudero.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill 436, strengthening the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation, Bravo and Canama.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
House Bill 437, regulating the importation, manufacture, distribution, and sale of children's toys, Bravo and Canama.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 446, increasing the maximum number of barangay public safety officers, Belmonte Jose Christopher.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 447, strengthening the provision of emergency health care service to patients, Belmonte Jose Christopher.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 451, creating 2 additional RTC branches in the province of Leyte, Gomez.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 452, expanding the coverage of Republic Act 10627, Gomez.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 457, instituting the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers, Manalo.
to the Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs,
House Bill 458, amending Section 84 Republic Act 8424, Seb Manalo.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 460, promoting and enforcing the people's right to information, Seb Tugna.
to the Committee on Public Information,
House Bill 464, strengthening the witness protection, security, and benefit program, Seb Tugna.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 468, imposing steeper penalties on the offenses of stealing or vandalizing government road signs, Seb Abu.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill 469, providing for the inclusion of the Fernando Air Base, Seb Abu.
to the Special Committee on Bases Conversion,
House Bill 474, providing for teaching supplies allowance, Seb Tino and Castro.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 475, mandating a 2,000 across-the-board increase in the monthly pensions, Seb Zarate, Tino, and several others.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 479, instituting a national dam safety program, Seb C. Alvarado.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 480, appropriating funds for the construction of coastal highways, Seb C. Alvarado.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 484, providing palliative and end-of-life care, Seb Villar.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 485, providing for the establishment of breast care centers in every region, Seb Villar.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 489, promoting the welfare of the Philippine National Police, Seb Macapagal Arroyo.
to the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
House Bill 490, granting amnesty to members of the Communist Party, Seb Macapagal Arroyo.
to the Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity,
House Bill 495, providing for the mandatory establishment of women child-friendly spaces, Seb Turabi Nataman.
to the Committee on Social Services,
House Bill 496, strengthening the fiscal autonomy of the Office of the Ombudsman.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Resolutions. House Resolution Number 1, direct the appropriate committee to inquire the status of the automation program sa Biason.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution Number 2, direct the appropriate committees to inquire the status of smuggling cases sa Biason.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution Number 6, direct the Committee on Local Government to conduct a comprehensive review of Republic Act 7160, Representative Alejano.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution Number 7, direct the appropriate committee to investigate the substandard housing units of Alejano.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 11, congratulating, commending Arianwen Rollan, Seb Garcia Gwendolyn.
to the Committee on Science and Technology,
House Resolution 12, direct the Committee on Information Communications Technology to inquire into the joint purchase by the PLDT Group of Companies, Seb Chanco.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 16, urging President Rodrigo R. Duterte to vigorously pursue the already jump-started peace negotiations with Sarat and several others.
to the Committee on Peace and Reconciliation and Unity,
House Resolution 17, urging President Rodrigo R. Duterte for the immediate release of all political prisoners, Sarat, Jesus, and several others.
to the Committee on Peace and Reconciliation and Unity,
House Resolution 18, House Resolution 20, urging the Committee on Health to inquire into the imminent transfer and abolition of Dr. Jose Pabello Memorial Hospital, Sarat, and several others.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 21, urging the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Josep Olivares.
to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries,
House Resolution 25, expressing warm felicitations and congratulations to Ateneo de Manila High School debaters, Josep Olivares.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Resolution 26, calling for a federal form of government, Josep Canama and Bravo.
to the Committee on Constitutional Amendments,
House Resolution 29, direct the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Resources to investigate the socio-economic impacts of Kasilaw, Sarat, and several others.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 30, direct the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries and Resources, Kasilaw, Sarat, and several others.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 30, direct the appropriate committee, Herrera D.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 34, urging the DOLE to conduct feasibility studies sa Blanete.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Resolution 38, commending and acknowledging the Hans Seidel Foundation sa Batawil.
to the Committee on Human Rights,
House Resolution 39, direct the proper committee sa Batocabe.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 42, direct the Committee on Natural Resources, Batocabe, Garbin and Co.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 44, urging the Committee on Cooperatives Development, Bravo, Canama, and Heron.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 47, Direct Appropriate Committee, Seb Biason.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 48, Direct Committee on Agriculture and Food, Seb Tan Angelina.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 51, calling for the postponement of the 2016 Barangay Sangguniang Kabataan elections, Seb Barbers.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Resolution 52, calling for the members of Congress to convene for the purpose of considering proposals to amend or revise the Constitution, Representative Barbers.
To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
House Resolution 56, urging President Rodrigo Duterte to appoint a qualified civilian to head the Internal Affairs Service of the PNP, Representative Alejano.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Resolution 957, congratulating commending Director Brillante Mendoza and Olivares.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Resolution 60, expressing profound sympathy and sincere condolences to the bereaved family of the Honorable Tupay T. Loong sa Mangodadatu.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 61, calling for investigation to the spate of extrajudicial killings, Seb Bagilat.
To the Committee on Rules.
Resolution of both Houses number 4, proposing to immediately convene the Joint Oversight Committee on the Human Security Act, Seb Alejano.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
Resolution of both Houses number 5, calling for constitutional convention, Seb Abu.
To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
House Joint Resolution number 2, convening the House and the Senate into the Constituent Assembly, Seb Benitez.
To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
House Joint Resolution number 3, ordaining a glossary of significant housing terminologies, Seb Benitez.
To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, the Honorable Lagman.
I rise on a question of personal and collective privilege regarding the status and recognition of the minority leader subsequent to yesterday's election for the speakership.
The gentleman may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this august chamber, colleagues both in the majority and minority, tri-media and social media, as well as interested parties, are puzzled why the Honorable Teddy Browner Bagilat Jr. of the Lone District of Ifugao up to now has not been officially recognized as the minority leader. The House of Representatives of the 17th Congress cannot democratically function without a minority leader. Moreover, the Rules Committee cannot also function with only the majority represented. Our rules provide that the minority leader and 5 deputy minority leaders shall be automatic members of the Committee on Rules. It is indubitable and uncontestable that Representative Bagilat Jr. is the new minority leader for the following overriding reasons. 1, as the runner-up candidate for Speaker, by tradition and practice, he is automatically the minority leader, having garnered more votes than the other candidate for Speaker, the Honorable Danilo Suarez. Ler Fess, an American parliamentarian, posited that, and I quote, like common law, parliamentary law is largely based on customary practices regulating procedure in group action as developed through the centuries, unquote. It has been the customary practice or tradition of the House of Representatives to officially consider the runner-up or the candidate for the position of Speaker garnering the second highest number of votes as the minority leader. The validity of this practice has never been questioned. The practice has been invariably adopted and acquiesced in from one Congress to another, that it has acquired the character of law or binding rule on the majority, the minority, or the independent members of the House of Representatives. Number two, Representative Suarez has disqualified himself from seeking the position of minority leader because he unequivocally voted for Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez. During the voting yesterday, Representative Suarez said, and I quote, "Madam Presiding Officer, I cannot vote for myself. I am casting my vote for Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez." Unquote. In the first place, Mr. Speaker, the premise of Representative Suarez's statement is incorrect. He is not prohibited from voting for himself. In the 16th Congress, the Honorable Ronaldo Zamora, a contender for the speakership, voted for himself. And the Honorable Martin Romualdez, another contender, also voted for himself. When Representative Suarez categorically voted for Speaker Pantaleon, Representative Suarez can even be eventually declared invalid because he subsequently aligned himself with the majority by voting for the eventual winner for Speaker. Number three, the majority leader must perforce recognize Representative Baquilat Jr. as the minority leader. He is in estoppel because he recognized Representative Harry Roque to nominate Representative Suarez for Speaker and also recognized Representative Raul Daza to nominate Representative Baquilat Jr. also for Speaker. He was then fully aware that there were two contenders for the position of minority leader because the victory of Honorable Pantaleon Alvarez was a foregone conclusion. When Representative Baquilat Jr. bested Representative Suarez, it is clear and unmistakable that Representative Baquilat Jr. is now the minority leader. Number four, the 20 members of the House who abstained, with the exception of Honorable Alvarez, the overwhelming winner for Speaker, are neither with the majority or the minority. Under the last paragraph of Section 8 of Rule 2, they are considered as independent members of the House. The pertinent provision of the rules unequivocally provides, and I quote, "Members who choose not to align themselves with the majority or the minority shall be considered as independent members of the House. They may, however, choose to join the majority or minority upon written request to and approval thereof by the majority or the minority, as the case may be." Unquote. Verily, those who abstain did not choose to align themselves with either the majority or minority. They are considered independent members of the House. With due respect, the opinion of the majority leader that those who abstain are members of the minority find no anchorage in the rules of the House. Such interpretation is virtually compelling those who abstain to belong to the minority. This construction violates both the spirit and phraseology of the rules. Under the foregoing factual setting, with only 15 members of the House constituting the minority, 8 for Representative Teddy Bagilat Jr. and 7 for Representative Suarez, an election for the minority leader is now an exercise in futility. The victory of Representative Bagilat Jr. is certain, as 8 is more than 7 by any mathematical computation. Like in the 16th Congress, when Representative Zamora won by 3 votes over Representative Romualdez, Representative Zamora was automatically recognized as the minority leader, and there was no need for an election among the minority members, even with the existence of the provision under Section 8 of Rule 2 that, and I quote, the minority leader shall be elected by members of the minority.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Can I finish my...
has the floor.
Yes, would the gentleman, would
The
my
gentleman is still,
distinguished colleague from Albay yield to interpellation after he finishes
The chair
his
recognizes the
statement
gentleman,
of the privilege?
whom I think is still...
Willingly, Mr. Speaker,
Well, I can
to
see...
the Honorable Dasa, after I finish my privileged speech, which is about to end.
The Honorable Lagman, please continue your speech.
This provision will only apply where there is no clear-cut winner for the position of minority leader, like when 2 or more contenders are tied with the same number of votes. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader had already been elected by the members of the minority when they cast their votes for the contenders for the speakership. Accordingly, the Honorable Teddy Browner Bagilat Jr. must perforce be recognized forthwith as the current minority leader. It is utterly suspicious, if not downright anomalous, why there is an undue procrastination in recognizing minority leader Bagilat Jr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to ventilate this crucial issue.
Mr. Speaker, may I now proceed to interpolate the distinguished gentleman from Albay?
The Honorable Dasa, you
Thank
may
you.
proceed.
I assume that the gentleman, like the other members of the House, found time to read the journal that was distributed and approved shortly after we had a resumption of the session when a quorum had been determined. Did the gentleman from Albay have that opportunity to read the journal that was approved?
Yes, Your Honor. On
Now-
page 18 of the journal, yesterday, July 25, 2016, it is recorded that the Honorable Suarez voted for the eventual winner as a speaker, the Honorable Pantaleon D. Alvarez. Also recorded on page 18 of the journal were the 8 members of the House who voted for Representative Teddy Browner Bagilat Jr. and the 7 representatives who voted for Representative Danilo E. Suarez. And this journal has been approved by the House. without any objection from any member of this august chamber.
I will go back to that point, Mr. Speaker. Did the gentleman take notice of page 14 in the journal, where the House, without objection, on motion of the distinguished majority leader, adopted the rules of the 16th Congress as the provisional rules of the House to govern its proceedings until the adoption of the rules for the 17th Congress, except for an amendment that he proposed on the matter of attire.
Yes, Your Honor, I am fully aware of that.
In other words, given the adoption yesterday of the rules of the 16th Congress, is it correct to say that the determination of who belong to the majority and who belong to the minority must be determined in accordance with the rules of the last Congress?
Yes, Your Honor, not only with accordance to the written rules, but also with the customary practice of the House, which is part of the rules.
Now, did the gentleman refer to the rules of the last Congress that we adopted as provisional rules? And did he notice that there are only 6 paragraphs of Rule 2, Section 8, which is the section that defines in clear and unmistakable terms who belong to the majority and who belong to the minority and who are not falling within the 2 categories deemed to be independent members?
Yes,
There are 6
Your Honor.
paragraphs only of this provision, isn't that?
Yes, Your Honor, that is
Now-
Section 8 of Rule 2,
That's correct.
wherein you could determine that there are 3 kinds of members of the House. 1, those belonging to the majority. 2, those belonging to the minority. And the 3rd, those considered as independent members of the House.
Now, does not or do not the 6 paragraphs encompass these 3 categories of members as a result of the voting for the Speaker? The first paragraph defines who are the members of the majority, and I quote, "Members who vote for the winning candidate for Speaker shall constitute the majority in the House, and they shall elect from among themselves the majority leader. The majority leader may be changed at any time by majority vote of the majority members." That is the paragraph that defines who are the members of the majority. Is that not correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. The second paragraph delineates in clear terms who constitute the minority, and I quote, "The minority leader shall be elected by the members of the minority and can be changed at any time by a majority vote of the minority members." Is that also precise in the way I read it and I quoted it?
Yes, Your Honor, and the members of the minority are determined from the results of the voting for Speaker.
Now, the subsequent paragraphs under the same section allow members to move from one group to the other, and the procedure is defined, and I don't want to go into it because it has no bearing to what is the subject of the invoked speech for privilege made by the gentleman from Albay. So I will not go into that. In substance, it says you belong to the majority, you want to move to the minority, you file an application in writing, it has to be approved in writing, then you're taken in from the majority to the minority, minority to the majority. The 6th paragraph, to me, indubitably define who are the 3rd group. And it says, and let me quote, "Members who choose not to ally themselves with the majority or the minority shall be considered as independent members of the House. They may, however, choose to join the majority or minority upon written request to and approval thereof by the majority or minorities. The case may be unquote. In other words, if you don't vote because you abstain and you opt out of the process of the election, or you cast a no vote, just like the distinguished gentleman from Malabon, then you are considered independent members of the House with option to apply in writing to be with the majority and with the minority. Is my interpretation correct, gentlemen?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Because if you are considered as part of the minority, then there is no more option for you to apply to be a member.
Hindi. Kumbaga sa Tagalog, although sa Tagalog hindi naman natin binabahiran ng kasalanan ang hindi bumoto ang nag-abstain. Kumbaga sa kasabihan, sa usapang pagkanto, hindi ka nagpatala sa langit. Hindi ka rin nagpatala sa impyerno. Nasa purgatorio ka. Para pagdating ng panahon, ibig mong mapunta ka sa langit, magpatala ka. Gusto mo sa impyerno, magpatala ka daw. I'm not saying that being in the majority is like heaven. Although I noticed from the smiles of those who voted for the speaker that there were angelic smiles of angels that seem to show that they have reached heaven. Whereas the minority, those who voted for the minority, especially those who voted for the distinguished gentleman from Ifugao, nakita ko, mistulang malungkot, para bang sila na ang mapupunta sa impyerno. In any event, gentlemen,
Malungkot kahit nananalo.
in any event, let me put on record, I just received 5 minutes ago a document that I would request to be inserted in the records. You know, I would look at these things with humor. Although these are matters of transcendental importance, because we are a lawmaking body, this seems to add to the comedy of errors. You know, Mr. Speaker, a few minutes ago, I was approached by Page. He was handing me a piece of communication, and I quote, "Honorable colleagues, pursuant to Rule 2, Section 8 of the Rules of the House of Representatives," which I've just quoted to you, 16th Congress, that were adopted as the provisional rules of the 17th Congress in yesterday's opening session, we are inviting you to a meeting of all the members of the minority for the purpose of electing the minority leader tomorrow, Wednesday, July 27, 2016 at 10 a.m. at the VIP Conference Room, North Wing, House of Representatives. 20 names are listed. Many of them will sign. I was being asked to sign that I received this. Well, I said, how can the independent members of the House constitute themselves into a minority and arrogate unto themselves the prerogative to elect a minority leader? Well, maybe these members of the House are in a fine sense of humor, but I didn't think it was humorous, because they are independent members of the House under the provisions of Rule 2, Section 8, and they have no right or privilege to convene a meeting of the so-called minority. Hindi naman sila sa langit. Wala naman sila sa langit. Wala naman sila sa impyerno. Nasa purgatorio lang sila. Bakit sila mananawag ng meeting na nasa langit at saka nasa impyerno? I think it's funny. I think it's ridiculous. I think it is presumptuous. Now, before I go to my next question, I agree with the gentleman's hypothesis that when the distinguished gentleman from Quezon, the Honorable Danny Suarez, cast his vote for the winning speaker, he became a member of the majority. That's in the first paragraph of Article 2, Section 8. So, when the 7 members of the House voted for him to be, in effect, minority leader, all those votes are strayed. I think it's fundamental that when you vote for a disqualified candidate, the votes are null and void, they're strayed. So, for heaven's sake, how can anyone stand on the floor and with all aplomb, I wouldn't say temerity, and with all aplomb say that the gentleman from Quezon has some claim to being minority leader? Ayan, totoo nga, pagat ko siya eh. Now, this morning, I reviewed the transcript of the proceedings. Binasa ko yung ginintuang palitan ng ating magiting na diputado o kinatawan ng buhay at ang nating pinagpipitagang majority leader. At para akong tinamaan ng kidlat nung ang ating kasama, ang majority leader, sinabi, and I will quote, and I'll quote, ito'y kasagutan niya sa tanong ng magiting na kinatawan ng buhay. Quote, lahat ng hindi bumoto, whether kontra o hindi siya bumoto, ayaw niya bumoto, minority pa sila. Aba, unquote. Eh kahit ano namang gawin mo pagbaliktarin mo itong sa Tagalog nito at itatapat mo dun sa nakasulat sa Article 2, Section 8 na English, imposibleng mangyari. Sabagay, ako Bisaya. Hindi ako magaling managalog. Pero, paano naman yung hindi bumoto, yung nag-abstain, at saka yung bumoto ng no vote, sa ilalim nitong maliwanag at tahasang nakalagay sa Article 2, Section 8, sabihin mo, bahagi ng minority. Alam po ninyo, dito sa ating rules, kung gusto mong maiba ka sa nakasulat sa rules natin, kailangan mayroon kang sasandigan. May pader kang sasandigan. Ako ginagalang ko yung ating kaibigan na majority leader. Pero sinasabi naman dito na ang suppletory rules, kung hindi, pag ipagpalagay mo na, malabo yung Article 2, Section 8, pero hindi malabo, maliwanag. Kung malabo, anong suppletory sources? Section 161, quote, suppletory provisions. The parliamentary practices of the Philippine Assembly, the House of Representatives, the Senate of the Philippines, and the Batasang Bansa shall be suppletory to these rules. Sampu naman, Mr. Speaker, ang pinagsasandalan ng ating kaibigang pinapipitagang majority leader. On the contrary, if you go to the presidents of the House, hindi po ba ginoong kinatawan ng albay, ang president yung nangyari nung nakarang kongreso. 3 tumakbo, yung una, yung pinakamarami speaker, yung pangalawa, ang minority leader. Yung pangatlo, independent. Nandiyan Section 2A. Maliwanag Ngayon, ito po ang akin. Alam po ninyo, makasama, Mr. Speaker. At ito, ibig kong ipantong sa ating kaibigang kasamaang Tagalbay. Alam po ninyo, natatanda pa po ba ninyo kahapon nang magtalumpati ang ating Pangulo? Nag-ukol siya ng panahon tungkol sa ancestral lands. Para bang pinahiwatig niya, bigyan natin ng pag-aruga itong mga cultural minorities. Di ba? Imbis na bigyan natin ng pag-aruga itong ating kasamang si Teddy Bagilat na cultural minority, si Ifugao, nasa kanya na ang pagiging minority leader, pahihirapan pa ba natin siya? Tayo ba'y sumasalo ka sa napupuso ng ating Pangulo? Ako hindi ko pa nga nakamay ang ating Pangulo, kailanman. Pero pinagmamasdan ko po ang ating Pangulo. May puso sa mga tao. I believe that he's sincere. And when he was talking of the ancestral lands, he was showing his compassion for the cultural minority. Pinabanggit ko po ito, Mr. Speaker, huwag tayong magkamali dito. Huwag tayong magkamali dito. Sapagkat ito ay makakaroon ng epekto sa pananaw ng mga tao sa cultural minority sa ating Pangulo. Lalong-lalo na, nasa front page ng Inquirer kanina, sinasabi ron na ang isang nakapagkumbinsi sa presidenteng tumakbo maging Pangulo, ang ating Speaker. Hindi ako naniniwala. Yung isang bumoto ng abstention kahapon dito, nagulat ako. Sinabi, nag-abstain daw siya kasi yun daw ang utos ni Speaker. Sabi ko, biro lang ito. Dahan-dahan tayo, Mr. Speaker. Huwag nating babaluktutin ang tuwid. Katulad din naman, ako ang tuwid, huwag natin babaluktutin. Maliwanag, si Teddy Bagilat ang napili. Yung mga sulat, independent members, hindi ako naniniwala yung sulat na binasa ko, which I'm going to insert into the records. Hindi yun dumaan sa liderato. Dumaan yun sa liderato, mga kaibigan. Pang-anim na kongreso ko na po ito. Walang nangangahas na tumawag ng meeting ng minoriya. Kung hindi, nagpasabi muna sa liderato, sa leadership nitong ating bahay batasan. Kaya pakiusap ko po sa mga kasama, huwag na natin patagalin ito. Is it not the fact that unless the Committee on Rules is constituted with the majority and the proper minority, that there will be a legislative paralysis?
Yes, Your Honor. I said that in my speech.
Pag hindi natin na-resolve ito, Mr. Speaker, we will be in a state of legislative paralysis. Hindi ba? Sayang yung mga araw. Gusto ni Presidente Duterte, full speed ahead. Gusto ni Speaker, full speed ahead. Kaming nasa tunay na minoriya. Sa ngayon kami, napakabarami ng problema. Ibig naming makatulong sa administrasyon nito. Kaya, pakiusap ko, tayong magkasama nito. Huwag na nating gawin yung mga palusot. Natatandaan ko yung ating majority leader, kasamahan ko sa impeachment. Inupakan niya si Chief Justice dahil sa mga palusot. Itong ginagawa natin ngayon, palusot ito Maliwanag. Huwag tayong magbiruan dito. We are responsible lawmakers, elected by our constituencies, to be serious, responsible, and constructive. We are not a gathering of school children. We are not a debating club. We are not here to draw lines of distinction, to split technical hairs. We are here to legislate. Legislate and help the President with his legislative agenda. Pakiusap ko sa liderato, tapusin na ito. Tanggapin na natin si Congressman Teddy Bagilat na siyang talagang minority leader natin.
Mr.
Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po sa ating kasawang Tagalbay. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there are a list of our colleagues who have registered to interpellate the Honorable Lagman. But before we recognize them, I give way to the Honorable Gentleman from Albay for his reply to the Honorable Dasa.
Mr. Speaker.
Well, Your Honor,
Before we continue
I
the
have
debate,
made my position very clear in my main speech, and I confirm the absolute correctness of what the Honorable Dasa has said.
Mr. Speaker, issue that I raised. Malinaw po, wala pong sumagot, wala pong nagtanong, wala pong nag-react nung sinabi ng majority floor leader, ito ang interpretation ng ating alituntunin. The rules of the House say this. Nobody complained. Nobody even questioned. So, to me, it is too late to question the rules in the middle of the game. A scheduled meeting for the minorities is for tomorrow, so we would insist that we elect our leader in the meeting tomorrow. And as defined by the majority floor leader, those who abstained and those who did not vote for the speaker yesterday are considered automatically participants in tomorrow's meeting. Sana po igalang natin itong ating sariling rules sapagkat 3 taon tayo magtatrabaho, kailangan meron po tayong sinusunod rules of the House. And the majority floor leader, in whatever he says on the floor, can be contested by anyone who so desires. If he is not contested in his position and definition, then we have to take it as the rule prevailing to cover our legislative work. Kung hindi, magkakagulo-gulo po tayo. Kung babalik-balikan natin, ang sa tingin natin ay tama, ay hindi naman sinasang-ayunan na ng mayoriya nitong kapulungan ito. For that matter, the body can change any portion of the rule if we so desire. But yesterday, there was no such dissent, there was no such disagreement, and therefore, we would insist we follow the interpretation of the rules by the majority leader stated very clearly in our journal, page 16, citing Section 8 of our rules. Kung hindi po, maliligaw tayo ng landas.
Mr. Speaker, would the gentleman from Manila yield to a few questions?
Majority Leader.
Yes,
Majority Leader.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's still my time.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, our parliamentary status is that we in the period of interpellation of the privileged speech of the Honorable Lagman. It is his prerogative to respond to the manifestation of the Honorable Atienza.
Your Honor, with due respect to the Honorable Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, point of order. Ilagay natin ito sa order. We are still,
the majority leader.
There cannot be three members on the floor.
Your Honor.
When the gentleman from Albay, with due respect, resume his seat, his time ended. And when the distinguished gentleman from Manila sought recognition, he was recognized, it is still his time. And I asked the gentleman from Manila whether on his time I can be a guest to interpolate, and he agreed. So, with due respect to the gentleman from Albay, may I proceed to interpolate?
Mr. Speaker, it is still my time.
Majority Leader, will you...
and I would not lend my time until I do relinquish it.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
it is indeed the time of the gentleman from Albay, the Honorable Lagman. With due respect to our colleague, the Honorable Dasa, he yielded the floor, interpellating the Honorable Lagman. Taking the place of the Honorable Chanco for interpellation was the Honorable Atienza. We are still in the period of interpellation, and it is now the time of the Honorable Lagman to reply to the Honorable Atienza.
Mr. Speaker, may I respond?
The Honorable Lagman is recognized to answer the
When
question.
I asked the gentleman from Manila on his time whether it was open to interpellation. The gentleman from Manila agreed. And so, may I proceed, with due respect to the gentleman from Albay, to interpellate the
Your Honor.
distinguished gentleman from Manila?
Your Honor, it's my time, but I could lend my time to the distinguished
All right, Mr. Speaker.
Congressman
Let us
Daza.
not fight over time. You know, there's all the time in the world to debate on this point. Would the distinguished presiding officer then rule that it is still the time of the gentleman from Albay?
It's still the time
And
of
then
the
I will-
gentleman from
I
Albay,
will accede
and
to
that
the
is why
ruling, and
I
then
am asking
have the two
the
gentlemen
Speaker,
debate
floor
on the floor
leader to-
because you cannot have, as I said, 3 members on the floor, sasamahan pa ng pang-apat sa rules,
Mr. Speaker,
you
ako
know,
na po
to do
nakikiusap.
it because
Pabayaan na natin magtanong
parliamentary
nagalang-galang
procedure
na Raul
does not
Daza.
allow that.
upang maliwanagan.
Not
Session
even the Rules
suspended.
Committee can interrupt a member who has the floor. So-
Mr. Speaker,
All right, the session has been suspended.
It's my time, but you know, I could lend my time to him, but I'm not relinquishing my time. Okay? I could lend my time.
Rule natin, time muna yan.
Oo.
Kausapin ko, recognize natin si Edsel. Mag-interpret si Manong Toby. Oo, kausapin ko na wag na muna niya. Okay. Pilit kung gusto. Samahan ko kayo. Oo, para maayos na. Ayoko mapahiya naman.
Punta lang niyo po siya, baka naka-order tayo.
Dito mag-rule tayo, mapapahiya.
Kasi po, kung sa kung mo alam na yung bisa mag-register, salit pa yung
Ha? Oo, sige, sige, sige.
Pare,
Ito.
Session resumed. The chair would like to make a ruling that the chair recognizes the Honorable Lagman, still the member who will proceed with the to answer questions from other members who have manifested their desire to ask questions. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we extend the time of the Honorable Lagman by an additional 10 minutes. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the recognition of the gentleman from the Lone District of Navotas City, the Honorable Toby Chanco, for his chance to interpellate the Honorable Lagman. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Honorable Chanco is recognized.
First of all, Mr. Speaker, the paper that the Honorable Dasa was mentioning was being given to me, but I refused to sign because for me it is a scrap of paper. Based on our rule, Section 8, those who did not vote for the majority or the minority cannot claim to be the minority. They are just independents until such time that they are accepted by the minority or the majority. Is that right, the Honorable Lagman?
You're absolutely right, Your Honor.
But what I am surprised is the Honorable Erice received a paper from someone from the Committee on Rules. At ang sabi sa kanya, pinapa-receive lang ho ng Committee on Rules. And the Committee on Rules now is just composed of the majority. So why is the majority distributing this kind of paper? Representative Lagman.
Well, Your Honor, that is just consistent with reports which we have disclosed earlier, that it is very possible the majority, the supermajority, is lending some of members in order to elect a co-opted minority, whom I call as the majority's minority leader.
Okay. Representative Lagman, Mr. Speaker, I will read from the Journal number 1, Monday, July 2013, Congressional Records, no? With 244, this is page 19, the Honorable Lagman. With 244 members voting for Representative Belmonte, 19 members voting for Representative Zamora, 16 members voting for Representative Romualdez, and 2 abstaining. The number one, the one who garnered 244 votes, who was Representative Belmonte, was declared Speaker. Is that right?
You are reading from what journal, Your Honor?
Journal of the 2013, Volume 1. Anyway, not anymore from the journal.
I would assume that that is a correct reading of the journal, Your Honor.
And the second place...
I don't have a copy of that journal.
Okay. And the second place in that election was automatically ruled as the minority leader. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So that means that ruling of the 16th Congress becomes part of the rules of the House. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, because the rulings of the chair are considered as part of the rules of the House.
Yesterday, the Honorable Atienza made an inquiry from the acting majority leader. And of course, our esteemed colleague, the good friend of mine, gave his opinion. Can the opinion of the majority leader be construed as a ruling, or is it just a mere opinion?
Your Honor, the statements of the distinguished majority leader is not cast on stone. It is not the ruling of the chair. That is his own personal opinion. And I might even submit that there is no need to make any interpretation or construction of the rules because the rules are clear. It is settled that when the rules are clear, when the provisions of law are clear, there is no need for any interpretation or construction.
Yes, I agree with that. But I just want to clarify, was there a motion to state that that opinion would be a ruling? Because the journal doesn't say that there was a motion, therefore if there was no motion, there was no ruling. And therefore that is a mere opinion that cannot supersede the ruling that happened in the 16th Congress. Do you agree with me?
Yes, Your Honor. With due respect to the majority leader, you are absolutely correct.
Okay, so now I will read this provision. Members who choose not to align themselves with the majority or the minority shall be considered as independent members of the House. So they cannot say that 20 of them are now the minority. Do you agree with me?
Yes, Your Honor. That provision is crystal clear. It does not need any interpretation or construction.
But they may, however, choose to join the majority or minority upon written request to and approval thereof by the majority or minority as the case may be. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. That is a verbatim quotation.
Yes. So now, for the independents to be able to participate, they must write to the minority leader. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. And they have not written. What they did was to make this so-called notice of a meeting purportedly to elect a minority leader.
So based on Section 8 of our rules, isn't it obvious that based on our rules, the minority leader is the Honorable Bagilat?
Yes, Your Honor. I have said that repeatedly, that he is the minority leader having garnered the second highest number of votes, because definitely 8 is more than 7.
So why are we not recognizing the Honorable Bagilat as the minority leader if it is that simple?
That is why I said that it is a puzzle. While there is a procrastination in recognizing the Honorable Bagilat as minority leader, there might be a hidden agenda to elect another minority leader, which should not be the case and which should not be allowed, because that is bastardizing the process of selecting a minority leader.
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, all my clarifications have been very much cleared up by the Honorable Lagman. Thank you very much, Congressman Lagman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, I move for the recognition of the gentleman from the party list Kabayan, the Honorable Harry Roque, for his chance to interpellate the Honorable Lagman. So moved, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
The Honorable Roque is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My first point of interpellation to the learned and honorable gentleman from Albay is a confirmation that pursuant to Rule 3 of the rules of this august chamber, the officers that should be elected at the commencement of each Congress consists only of the Speaker, 6 Deputy Speakers, Secretary General, and the Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Gentleman from Albay confirm that this is found in Rule 3, Section 11 of our rules?
Is the Honorable Party List Representative of Kabayan asking that he interpellate me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Will the gentleman from Albay yield to a few points of interpellation?
Willingly, Your Honor, to the representative from Kabayan Party List.
My first point of interpellation is precisely whether or not, under Rule 3, Section 11 of our rules, the officers whom we should elect at the commencement of our session include only the Speaker, the Deputy Speakers, Secretary General, and Sergeant at Arms.
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, that was in the order of business in yesterday's proceedings.
And in fact, therefore, Mr. President, may I ask again the Honorable Gentleman from Albay to confirm that the post of Minority Leader need not be elected at the commencement of each Congress.
Well, that is not expressed in the rules, Your Honor, under that provision you are reading, but it is found in another portion of the rules where the minority leader is the one who gets the highest number, the second highest number of votes after the elected speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I will go to that point, but for now, would the Honorable Gentleman from Albay confirm that the post of Minority Floor Leader is not amongst those mentioned in Section 11, Rule 3 of the Rules of this House?
I have confirmed that already. I said
Now,
that is even part of the order of business in yesterday's proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, Section 8 was mentioned also by the learned gentleman from Albay. And will the gentleman from Albay confirm that, again, pursuant to the text of Section 8, what is provided is that the members who vote for the winning candidate for Speaker shall constitute the majority, and they shall, among from themselves, elect the Majority Leader. It also provides, and again I ask for confirmation, that the Minority Leader shall be elected by the members of the minority and can be changed at any time by a majority vote of all minority members.
Your Honor, with respect to the first paragraph of Section 8, there is no question about that. All those who voted for the eventual winner as a speaker will constitute the majority. And that would include the Honorable Suarez. Now, with respect to the second paragraph of Section 8, that is virtually a dead provision because it has not been followed by the House. When I was elected as minority leader in the 15th Congress, I automatically assumed that position without any election from the members of the minority. In the same token, when the Honorable Zamora assumed the position as minority leader in the 16th Congress, there was no election between him and the Honorable Romualdez. He was readily recognized by the winner in that contest, the Honorable former Speaker, Sonny Belmonte. As I've said, Your Honor, we should know what is the reason for this rule. And the reason is that if there is no clear-cut second placer, then this rule would operate. But if there is a clear-cut winner, like in yesterday's election, this rule should not operate. As a matter of fact, this provision is a surplusage because the members of the minority had already chosen the minority leader when they voted for the speaker. In other words, something which is a surplusage should be considered as virtually not existing.
Mr. Speaker, the learned gentleman from Albay cited practice of this honorable chamber of August Chamber of Congress. But Mr. Speaker, the fact remains, and I ask the honorable gentleman from Albay to again confirm, that only yesterday, this House again adopted these rules for this House of Representatives. And may I ask the good gentleman from Albay to confirm this?
That is correct, Your Honor. But this particular provision, which the distinguished gentleman is citing, has been obliterated by consistent practice.
Mr. Speaker, my question to the learned gentleman from Albay is, if this is the case, why did we not omit this from the rules of this chamber, from this honorable House of Representatives?
Well, Your Honor, it is there. There are some provisions which are dead provisions. They are not buried, but I suppose a dead provision should not be resurrected.
But, Mr. Speaker, we seem to have a problem here, because the gentleman of Albay would like us to ignore written provisions of our rules simply because he says in the past we have done away with the rules. How can we do this, Mr. Speaker, when precisely only yesterday a unanimous vote of all members of this chamber adopted anew these rules, and contrary to the statement of the gentleman from Albay, this provision was not, quote, obliterated, unquote.
Your Honor, there is such a thing as an exercise in futility. Why is there a need to elect a minority leader when he has been elected already? The minority is constituted by 15 members of this House, 8 belonging to the group of the Honorable Bagilat, and 7 belonging to the group of the Honorable Suarez. You let them meet, there will be the same result. Because 8 is more than 7 by any mathematical computation. The strange thing here is the attempt of those who abstain to become members of the minority. They are barred, Your Honor, by the last provision of Section 8 of Rule 2, because they are considered independent members of the House. They can only become minority if they apply for membership in the minority and their application is approved by the minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder then why, when yesterday there was an exchange between the Majority Floor Leader and Honorable Atienza of Party List Buhay on who shall constitute members of the minority, it was very clear from the statement of the Honorable Majority Leader that all those who did not vote for the majority shall belong to the minority. And yet, Mr. Speaker, will the good gentleman from Albay confirm that he did not object to this particular ruling by the Honorable Majority Floor Leader?
That is correct, Your Honor, because that is not, yesterday was not the proper forum for this.
But nonetheless,
yesterday was the election of the Speaker, and the statements of the Honorable Parinas, according to the journals, is only quote remarks of Representative Parinas. We should not waste time debating on mere remarks.
Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, nonetheless, if the good gentleman from Albay considered that statement as being contrary to the rules, then perhaps he should have made the corresponding point of order, because that is a remedy for an unprocedural statement or act of any member of Congress.
Your Honor, in the same manner that the distinguished gentleman did not rise to affirm the remarks of the Honorable Parinas, in the same token, we did not rise to contradict the remarks of the Honorable Parinas because it was a mere remarks. It will not be controlling to the House. And the proper forum is today, not yesterday.
I am now confused, Mr. Speaker, because earlier the gentleman from Albay wanted us to consider a provision of our rules obliterated. Instead, the good gentleman from Albay would want us to adopt a construction on whether or not those who abstain should be considered part of the minority or part of the independent bloc. But in this regard, may I inquire from the good gentleman from Albay, under now Section 8, it provides again that members who vote for the winning candidate shall constitute the majority. Now, it is implied that those who do not vote for the majority for the winning speaker do not form part of the majority. Is this a correct construction, Mr. Speaker?
Your Honor, in the first place, the distinguished gentleman is quoting me out of context. I did not ask for the obliteration of the second paragraph of Section 8. I said that by practice, it has been obliterated. Now, Your Honor, the provisions of Section 8 are very clear. There is no need to make any construction or interpretation unless there is a hidden agenda.
Well, Mr. Speaker, may I know from the honorable gentleman from Albay if the provisions of Section 8 are very clear? Can he point to this representation where it is mentioned that abstained votes do not form part of the minority?
That is the last sentence of Section 8, which reads, and I quote, "Members who choose not to align themselves with the majority or the minority shall be considered as independent members of the House." So they are neither members of the majority or the minority. If they want to change their status, the provision is clear. They may, however, choose to join the majority or minority upon written request to and approval thereof by the majority or minority, as the case may be.
But even then, Mr. Speaker, on the basis of what has just been read by the honorable gentleman from Albay, there is no mention about members of the House abstaining.
There is no need to say that, Your Honor, because in a votation, in voting, one may either vote for the proposition or for the motion, or vote against the proposition or motion, or may abstain. But an abstention is a resolution on the part of the one abstaining that he is not going to make a stand or a vote.
May I inquire from the good gentleman from Albay, Mr. Speaker, if there is even any precedent, any decision by the Honorable Supreme Court ruling that an abstention is not a vote for the minority?
Definitely, I would say I have not reviewed the Supreme Court decisions, but I don't think the Supreme Court would say that. If the gentleman is saying that, then most probably he should wait until he becomes Justice of the Supreme Court.
Well, Mr. Speaker, because the gentleman from Albay is, I acknowledge him as my mentor and very much my senior, well, The point that I would like to raise, in fact, by way of my final point of interpretation, is in the absence of a ruling, a construction by the highest tribunal that a vote of abstention is or is not a vote for the minority, the issue should be resolved by this August Chamber of Congress, because all matters affecting organization of the House are internal matters for this honorable House to be resolved. And therefore, my final point of interpellation is, may I know from the gentleman from Albay, what is the party affiliation of the person whom he claims is in fact the minority floor leader?
He is a member of the Liberal Party with his status as minority member.
So he is a member of the Liberal Party, and unless I am wrong, Mr. Speaker, will the gentleman from Albay confirm that the Liberal Party has entered into a coalition agreement with the ruling party, PDP Laban?
It is not the Liberal Party which entered into a coalition. What that coalition agreement covered were members of the Liberal Party in the House. Some members, but not all. It was not an official authorization from the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party members in the House were the ones who joined the coalition. But not all of them joined. Some refused to join and opted to be Liberal Party members in the minority.
But nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, and by way of clarifying the matter, it is the wish of the gentleman from Albay to elect as minority floor leader a member of the Liberal Party that is in coalition with the ruling party and the majority in this August Chamber of Congress.
I did not say that, Your Honor. The distinguished gentleman should not speak for me. I did not say that. I said that the Honorable Bagilat is a member of the Liberal Party, but with the status of minority in the House.
Mr. Speaker, may I know from the gentleman from Albay, where do you find the so-called status of his alleged minority floor leader, Rep. Bagilat?
That was discussed in the meeting of the Liberal Party members in the House, that some would remain as minority members even if there is still Liberal Party members.
So to clarify, Mr. Speaker, such a status is not found in our rules.
You don't have to make that status definition in our rules. Not everything should be in the rules.
My question, Mr. Speaker, is to clarify whether or not that status is found in the rules of the House. Mr.
My
Speaker.
answer is clear, Your Honor.
None? Nasabi ko ba? Period. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable gentleman from
Thank you,
Albay.
Your Honor.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, I move for the recognition of the gentleman from the 1st District of Camarines Sur, the Honorable Rolando Andaya, for his opportunity to interpellate the Honorable Lagman. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
The Honorable Andaya is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Will the Honorable Lagman, gentleman from Albay, give this member of the majority an opportunity to join the fray in the discussions of selecting the minority leader?
Yes, Your Honor. But that is actually a post-mortem. Because the minority leader has already been elected. And he is the Honorable Teddy Bagilat.
Yes, Your Honor. I actually chose to rise and ask a few clarificatory questions to the gentleman, precisely on Section 8, a much debated section of our rules. Being the majority, after reading the provision, it seems that any member of the House has an inchoate right, shall we say, to be a member of the minority. Any member of the majority can, according to the rules, by written permission, can be a part of the minority as provided, and then join in the processes of the minority. That is why I rise. I feel that I have an inchoate right to rise, and this discussion is not purely for the members of the minority per se, Mr.
That right is inchoate
Yes,
until
inchoate.
the minority or the majority leader
Yes,
approves the application.
Yes, that is an inchoate right, not yet ripened into a vested right. Thank you very much. Section 8, to be clear, Mr. Speaker, talks about the majority and minority. It does not talk about purely the election of the majority leader, the speaker, or the minority leader.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, it talks about the majority, the minority, and the third class of member, the independent members of the House.
Yes, we agree on that, Mr. Speaker. Would you also agree that this Section 8 applies to all members during the 3-year term that they have, not only in the opening of the Congress, meaning to say just for the purpose of electing a speaker and a minority leader, but also it applies to, in all our dealings, every day, meaning to say this provision can apply even to the last day of our session when we choose to exercise our right from transferring from one side to another, shall we say, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Your Honor. That would govern the status of the members of the House with the provision that any member of the majority or any member of the minority can apply as a member of the other group. But there should be a written application, and the application should be accordingly
That is
approved.
correct. Thank you. So let's go now to the first paragraph, in which, as we've all discussed, those who vote for the winning candidate, as defined in the first paragraph, members who vote for the winning candidate for Speaker shall constitute the majority in the House, and they shall elect amongst themselves the majority leader. The majority leader may be changed at any time by a majority vote of all the majority members. This particular provision, I'm sure honorable gentleman from Albay would agree, defines in clear terms the members of the majority. It states, if you vote, in our particular case, if you vote for Congressman Alvarez, you are part of the majority. Would you agree, Mr. Speaker?
That's correct.
Likewise, if you apply that simple rule of statutory construction in which what is not included is necessarily excluded, then you could also say the first paragraph also clearly delineates who are the members of the minority. Basically saying, so if you do not vote for Congressman Alvarez, or if you do not vote for anybody, as the case may be, you are now part of the minority, applying the rule of statutory construction.
Subject to the qualification of the last paragraph of Section 8, which says that members who choose not to align themselves with the majority or the minority shall be considered as independent members of the House. This would cover members who cast an abstention.
That I confirm that particular provision, Mr. Speaker. But maybe if we could go backwards a little bit. As we have agreed a while ago, this particular provision does not merely pertain to our opening day in Congress. This particular provision pertains to our everyday proceedings, Mr. Speaker. If we go straight to the last paragraph of this particular provision, I fear that this does not apply squarely to the situation at hand. If you look at the first paragraph, when it is defined who are the members of the majority, it talks about members who vote for the winning candidate. But if you look at the last paragraph, it talks about members who choose to align themselves. Not vote, but align And we are talking here of 3 years. So I can choose to align myself anytime. Maybe tomorrow, I can align myself with the minority. Or maybe the gentleman from Albay can choose to align himself with the majority tomorrow. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is these two paragraphs are not on equal footing. The provision on the paragraph referring to members who are independent does not apply the situation we're opening the session in which we are voting for the Speaker.
Your Honor, it applies. Because under the last paragraph, with respect to the right of alignment, those who abstained yesterday exercised the right to align. And they decided not to align either with the minority or the majority. This provision is the last provision in Section 8. And according to the rules of statutory construction, the last provision qualifies the preceding provisions. And this provision qualifies the previous provisions.
Yes, it qualifies who are the members of the majority and minority, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, that's right, correct. That's correct, Your Honor. And this final proviso excludes from the minority or the minority those who did not align themselves with either the minority or the majority. In other words, they are considered independent members of the House.
Mr. Speaker, again, not to... Let me go look to our next topic, Mr. Chairman. I'm not here to... I heard a while ago that the second paragraph was a... I will not use the term obliterated, but as I've correctly heard a while ago, surplusage, in which the minority leader shall be elected by members of the minority and can be changed at any time by a majority vote of all the minority members. I beg to disagree, Mr. Speaker, that this is a surplusage. I would agree it is if there are only 2 candidates, in which the losing candidate automatically becomes the minority leader. That is correct, but there's no other candidate to choose from. But in a situation when you have 3 candidates, I would agree that this provision would apply. Because specifically in this situation, you have a score of 8 and 7. So between the 2 losing candidates, if they are to run against each other without the first candidate that won, the result would not necessarily be the same. And I'm sure we've all heard about the concept of runoff elections. This is a situation of a runoff election in which there is no clear winner between the 2, because you take out one major factor in this situation, the winner, the Speaker. And between the 2 remaining losing candidates, necessarily there should be another round of elections to clearly see or determine who the minority leader should be.
Your Honor, this provision becomes a surplusage if after the election for a Speaker, there is a clear runner-up or one who got the next highest number of votes. In yesterday's election, this happened. There was a clear-cut runner-up. Because in the case of Congressman Bagilat, he got 8 votes. In the case of Congressman Suarez, he got 7 votes. And I would like to reiterate, by any mathematical computation, 8 overwhelms 7. And there is no need for a runoff, because that is not provided for in the rules. And let me just again emphasize that the members of the minority already made their selection, already voted for the minority leader when they voted for the aspirants for Speaker. So in that sense, indeed, this provision could be considered a surplusage, unless there is no clear-cut winner for the second position.
Mr. Speaker, my right being merely an inchoate right on this matter, I would like to thank the gentleman for giving me his time answering some clarificatory questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much.
Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the gentleman from Akbayan Party List, Congressman Tom Villarin.
Honorable Garin is recognized. Mr. Speaker, will the good gentleman from Albay willing to some interpellation?
Willing, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I am asking these questions is because I am a neophyte lawmaker, and I differ to the wisdom and experience of our colleagues here in the House. My first question, Mr. Speaker, is it by tradition that a speaker is elected from the party of the winning administration or the winning president?
Well, historically, invariably, the Speaker of the House comes from the party of the incumbent president.
If that is so, Mr. Speaker, is there instances in the past that the party of the president, including its allies, dominates the House of Representatives in terms of representation in the majority?
Well, I think, Your Honor, history will tell us that that is the occurrence when in the in the 9th Congress, when President Ramos won as president. At the time, the LDP was the dominant party. But when the election for a speaker was held, it was Lakas and UCD which won, and that was the party of the president.
If that is so, Mr. Speaker.
When President Aquino won as president, the dominant party was then the Lakas and UCD. But when the election for president was held, the dominant Lakas and UCD was annihilated by the Liberal Party. So that is our history. That's why we call to stop this practice of Turketism, because it is not good for a democratic process. That is why we are saying that the supermajority should not meddle in this election of the minority leader, because that is a violation of the precepts of checks and balances.
Mr. Speaker, assuming but not claiming that a supermajority would undermine the independence of the minority, will there be adverse effects in fulfillment of the mandate of Congress as a democratic institution?
Yes, Your Honor, definitely. Because Congress is a deliberative assembly. It should not be a rubber stamp parliament. The process of enacting laws and formulating policies should be the result of a extensive deliberation where differing views are synthesized. It should never be the result of an orchestrated soliloquy.
Mr. Speaker, would you then agree that this is vital for the body to respect the choice of the minority and rules that it made as such, because these rules were put in place not to undermine but preserve and respect the individuality and variety of our choices, which is essential to any democracy?
Yes, Your Honor. You are perfectly correct.
Because it's in such case, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, where the democratic tradition itself is being challenged in these very halls of our Constitution, the foundation of our statehood as a democracy was written, wouldn't our own credibility as a lawmaking institution be put into question?
Not only our credibility, Your Honor, if the sinister plot is not aborted, the image of the House will be besmirched.
Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, we heard President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and in it, he said that he would practice democracy, would practice the rule of law. Wouldn't it be proper that in this institution, in this democratic institution, we should be practicing that practice, Mr. Speaker?
I think, Your Honor, everyone, but most importantly, members of the supermajority, should follow that exhortation of the President. And even before the SONA, Your Honor, in his inaugural address, the President said, the erosion of the people's faith in our leaders must be stopped. And he also said that if change has to be permanent and substantial, it must come from us, in us. And this sinister enterprise of meddling in the selection of the minority leader is repugnant to the very exhortation of the President. And I think the members of the majority should be the first to follow this prescription of President Duterte.
On a personal note, Mr. Speaker, as I've said earlier in my statement, that when I joined this Congress, when I joined this institution, when I decided to side with 7 others who voted for Congressman Teddy Bagilat, I had no illusions that we would win. But because we are in a democracy and there would be winners and there would be losers, and even in the selection of the minority, Mr. Speaker, for me, it was very telling that I joined a contest, a democratic contest, and I believe that the 8 votes overwhelms the 7 votes, as what was stated by our distinguished colleague from Albay. So, Mr. Speaker, again, I implore this House that we go back again to the vision, to the mission of our institution. To make this a healthy institution, we should respect, recognize, and even promote the rights of the minority. As we can see earlier, there was a manifestation that there is a paper that's calling for an election of the minority tomorrow. And based on what we have experienced yesterday, there was already an election. And I myself is confused why there would be a call for elections. And citing the results, Mr. Speaker, of yesterday's voting, it said 252 voted for Speaker Bebot Alvarez. There were 21, including Congressman Bebot Alvarez, now Speaker, who abstained. May I ask, if that abstention, if that vote for abstention of Congressman, now Speaker Bebot Alvarez, is still considered that he is or he has no option or decision that whether to be in the minority or majority?
Your Honor, that abstention cannot prevail over the overwhelming vote for Speaker Alvarez, that he is the Speaker of the House.
Now, Mr. Speaker, again reading from the journal, it says here that those who voted for Representative Danilo Suarez are Congressman Atienza, Campos, Del Rosario, Lee, Harry Roque, Salon, and Villarasa Suarez. Now, I was hearing earlier that Congressman Atienza and Congressman Roque are supporting the move of having an elections for the minority leader when both they themselves already made a choice yesterday. So I am just wondering, Mr. Speaker, what would be the motive of such pursuit?
Well, Your Honor, the answer to that question is between the honorable members you have mentioned and the Meralco Lampos.
There are no more questions, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Your Honor, for remaining steadfast in sustaining the democratic processes in this august chamber. Your Honor,
Majority Leader.
with the due indulgence of the Honorable Marcoleta, if he could just make a manifestation, then I would appreciate it. I had a bilateral, simultaneous knee joint replacement, and I could not stand for a long period of time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the recognition of the honorable gentleman from the party list 1 Sagip, the Honorable Dante Marcoleta, for his manifestation. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Honorable Marcoleta.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Of course, I cannot refuse the request of the Honorable Lagman. I prepared for a few questions on interpellation, but now I am requested to just make a manifestation. May I manifest, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, that I have intended to ask a few questions. For example, I was supposed to ask him, when somebody abstained, did he vote for the majority? When somebody abstained, did he effectively vote for the minority? I don't think so. Mr. Speaker, if somebody chose to abstain, he actually didn't want to vote. And therefore, there is no vote. And so, where do we classify them? I think we can classify them under the last paragraph of Section 8, that for the moment, they opted not to choose either the minority or the majority. The reason being that it is between themselves and their own conscience, Mr. Speaker. So they chose to be neutral. It's neither here nor there. It is not correct to interpret that they are already automatically members of the minority simply because they chose to be neutral. Mr. Speaker, I think it was Dante Alighieri who said in one of his writings that those who chose to be neutral at the time they are asked to act, to them is reserved the hottest corner of hell. Why do we have to give them now the highest premium of privilege of asking them to again enforce an election in the minority? The golden opportunity for them to classify themselves to either the majority or the minority is to vote. They did not vote, Mr. Speaker. And so what is the basis of the other group to call a meeting purportedly to elect the minority leader? We just did, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, it was not even a mathematical equation. It was purely an arithmetic computation, Mr. Speaker. Even my youngest grandchild, Mr. Speaker, would readily recognize that 8 is more than 7. He is only a grade 1 pupil, Mr. Speaker. Is this the kind of issue that this August Hall is supposed to resolve? We are not probably what we are elected for. This is a very simple issue, Mr. Speaker. Somebody asked the Honorable Lagman whether or not he can equate the word voting to the right to align for the time being. I think so. It's a matter of saying that I cannot yet vote, but sometime later I can. But how can we now distinguish whether there is a majority or minority if he does not want to vote? Kahit po sa isang kumpanya, Mr. Speaker, yung pong union sa isang corporation, ang sabi ng Labor Code, management has nothing to do in the election of the employees' union. Management is a disinterested bystander. Somebody here yesterday asked the good majority leader, what happens if somebody abstains? The good majority leader expressed his honest opinion. That was his opinion. And everybody is entitled to his own opinion. But I would have to ask the majority, the Honorable Lagman, is the majority leader's opinion, no matter how noble, will it have the effect of overriding or superseding or render inoperative the last paragraph of Section 8? I don't think so, Your Honor. Somebody said that we are talking here of the rules. Only the rules. Only the rules are important here, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, nothing else. Why are we being asked now to again vote? We had just voted yesterday, and the result is 8 and 7. If we will vote again tomorrow, is somebody speculating that those who voted for Honorable Bagilat will somehow vote for the Honorable Danilo Suarez or vice versa? We are not children, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, in voting for the majority leader, there is a clear opportunity to vote for the majority leader. It was in the agenda. There is no agenda to vote for the minority leader. Why? Is not the sauce for the goose the same as the sauce for the gander? Why are we being pressured to vote again for the majority leader? There is no basis. We just did, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Bagilat was voted with 8 votes. There is an overwhelming vote of 1 in favor of Mr. Bagilat, Mr. Speaker, when I was in the 13th Congress, the 14th Congress, and the 15th Congress, there is that tradition that the second or the candidate who gets the second number of votes automatically becomes the majority leader. I think, Mr. Speaker, this is part of parliamentary practice that this House is still uphold at this time. Under Section 161, page 80 of the rules of the 16th Congress, which we adopted yesterday, the parliamentary practices of the Philippine Assembly. Can you imagine, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor? Even the parliamentary practices of the Philippine Assembly, which dates back, I think, in 1940s, if not in the 1930s. The House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines and Batasang Pambansa shall be suppletorily or shall be used suppletorily with these rules. We cannot erase those precedents, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker. And so I ask, Mr. Speaker, what is the authority of the other group in calling for another election tomorrow when we just did? Because there is now an elected minority leader in the person of Congressman Teddy Bagilat. Will somebody please tell me the authority under which the calling of an election be based? If we are governed by our rules, Mr. Speaker, let somebody tell me where is that authority. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, our honorable esteemed colleague, the Honorable Lagman, has taken his seat not out of a refusal to answer further questions, but because of the constraints of his...
Mr. Speaker, the good gentleman from party list Akbayan asked, what could be our motivation for insisting that those who did not vote for the current speaker should vote for their own minority leader? My motivation, Your Honor, first and foremost, is to ensure that no individual from a party already part of the majority should become minority floor leader. Because if this happens, we sacrifice the system of check and balances for which we have established the post of minority floor leader in the first place. Secondly, Your Honor, we insist that those who did not vote for Speaker Bebot Alvarez should vote for their minority leader because that is the essence of democracy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the recognition of the honorable gentleman from the party list Buhay. For the last manifestation on this topic, I move for the recognition of the Honorable Lito Atienza. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
The Honorable Lito Atienza is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. With due respect from the members of Congress now remaining, may we all learn from this exchange and discussion and debate on the issue of who should be electing the minority leader. The reasons mentioned by Congressman Albay, to me, are no reasons that we should perpetuate something which is not coherent with democracy. The point raised by Congressman Marcoleta is also not in relation to defending the democratic and parliamentary rules followed by all congressional bodies. Minention nila yung Batasang Pambansa. I am very, very fortunate to have been a member of the regular Batasang Pambansa. And as I see Congressman Zamora, also a member of the Batasang Pambansa. During those days, we were doing the right things. The majority leader is elected by the majority, and the minority leader is elected by the minority. Yun po ang naliwanagan kahapon nung sinabi ng ating majority leader that indeed this time we will correct the malady, the abnormality of what was practiced before and perpetuated by Congresses thereafter. Now is the time to change this rule, or rather to interpret the rules properly. The minority leader should be elected by the minority members. And according to our own rules, the minority members comprise of those who did not vote for the speaker and those who abstained. Malinaw po yung rules eh. Yun ang ating wag baguhin sapagkat we should all be governed by our own rules. And therefore, the meeting called for electing the minority leader is in order. We who belong to the minority as defined by our rules should meet indeed and elect a minority leader. Ginagalang ko po si Congressman Bagilat. Iginagalang ko rin po si Congressman Suarez. But this is not about personalities. This is about our rules. We should not be influenced one way or another by our friendship or loyalty to any one of them too. I would really insist, Mr. Majority Floor Leader and Mr. Speaker, that the meeting tomorrow to elect the minority leader be held as scheduled so that we may elect our leader in the soonest possible time. We have debated this issue so long, and to insist that a minority leader was elected yesterday, again, is a misrepresentation, to say the least. We did not vote for a minority leader. We elected a speaker. And as defined, yung binoto po nating speaker ay binoto ng mayorya. At sabi nga po ng majority leader kahapon, ang minority, paulit-ulit ko pong tinanong yun, ay iboboto ng mga minority members. I was very, very ecstatically elated hearing that because that is really a big, big shift towards the right direction. So to insist that we elected a minority leader yesterday is falsehood. We should elect our leader tomorrow as scheduled and called for by the minority members. And according to our own rules, minority members are those who did not vote for the speaker, Speaker Alvarez, and those who abstained. And it would be the height of injustice on members of this body to deprive those who abstained their right to choose now and to participate in this election of a minority leader. With that, we would like to close our arguments that everything has been set forth correctly, and it should not be fair, and it will not be just. And if we talk about defending democracy, we should defend it in the right manner, following the rules of the House. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as a final manifestation, I move for the recognition of the gentleman from the 2nd District of Caloocan, the Honorable Edgar Erice. So move, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a manifestation and a parliamentary inquiry. First, the manifestation. I received an invitation for a meeting to elect a minority leader for tomorrow, Wednesday, July 27. And I was surprised to receive this particular invitation from representatives whom I know that as the very first who signed a coalition agreement with our speaker. The very first representatives who expressed their support to the speaker. Now they are calling themselves part of the minority. So, Mr. Speaker, my parliamentary inquiry, since I received this particular invitation from the members of the staff of the Committee on Rules, gusto ko lang pong malaman, saan po ba talaga galing itong invitation na ito?
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
I thought the gentleman was going to interpolate the gentleman who has the floor. Now he is making a parliamentary inquiry. We are following the wrong procedure here. May I first move to terminate the time of the Honorable Edsel Lacman?
There's a motion to terminate. Hearing none, the time of the gentleman is now terminated.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the privileged speech of the Honorable Lagman to the Committee on Rules.
The speech of the Honorable Lagman will be committed to the Committee on Rules.
Now, I think the gentleman wants to raise a question
Yes, Mr.
of parliamentary.
Speaker.
But before he does that, may the majority leader react because his name was dragged in the exchange of debates between our colleagues in the minority. The gentleman from Northern Samar even used the word palusot and alluded to the impeachment proceedings. Ironically, he is the one making the palusot because yesterday, as cited by the gentleman representing Buhay, there was a very clear inquiry here. When the first nomination was about to be made, he wanted already to rise and make questions, but we prevailed upon him for us to finish the nominations. And after the nominations were closed, and very clearly, the position that was being aspired for was the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Hindi po pinagbubutuhan dito ang minority leader. Bagilat did not run for minority leader. He ran for speaker. The same with Suarez. Natalo nga ho sila. And we were only electing the speaker. That was the only question on the table. And when they asked nga, dahil, tatlo ito, what will happen? Ito na nga ho yung journal na in-approve natin ngayon. At niwala naman hong nag-complain. Ito yung journal, first journal of this Congress, which we just approved earlier. Nakalagay dito. Parliamentary Inquiry of Representative Atienza. Recognized by the chair, Representative Atienza inquired as to who would elect the minority leader of the House of Representatives. So tinanong niya, sino mag-elect sa minority leader? Sinagot ito. Remarks of Representative Fariñas. In reply, Representative Fariñas referred to Section 8 of the Rules of the House on membership to the majority and the minority. This is on page 16. He explained that the members who voted for the winning candidate for Speaker shall constitute the majority and shall elect from among themselves the majority leader, while those who voted against the Speaker or did not vote at all shall belong to the minority and would thereafter, alam niyo ba ibig sabihin ng thereafter? Katapusan noon, would elect their minority leader. So meron pa rin susunod na eleksyon. Hindi yung eleksyon ng, kasi ang pinagbubutuhan doon, speaker. Ano ba kayo? Ang liwa-liwanag eh. At saka, you were here yesterday. You should have objected to what you now call the opinion of the majority leader, which was adopted by the body. What subterfuge is this, or palusot, that you participated in an election for the Speaker under the rules, that all those who will not vote for the Speaker will be constituted as a minority and they will thereafter elect their minority leader. Nakipag-eleksyon kayo sa Speaker natalo kayo, sasabihin nyo, kayo ang minority leader. Hindi naman. Yung 20 did not vote because they were not participating in the election for Speaker. But if we said that this is the election of the minority leader, edi nag-participate sila. Hindi nga Maliwanag na ang pinagbubutuhan lamang ay yung speaker. At pagkatapos nito, lahat na hindi boboto doon sa nanalong speaker, kung gusto nyo, basahin ko po yung exchange na ang liwa-liwanag kaya tuwan-tuwa. Si kasamang Lito Atienza dahil sa unang pagkakataon, ngayon lang masusunod ang rules dito, sabi niya, tapos ngayon, i-invoke nyo. Kasi hindi sinusunod yung rules na yan, ituloy-tuloy natin, wag sundan yung rules na yan. A law or a regulation is not repealed by non-observance. It can only be repealed by express repeal. Kung hindi sinusunod yan, batas pa rin yan. And under the Constitution, each House of Congress shall promulgate its own rules, which shall become part of the rule of the land. Yung prong mga traditions, customs, usage, nag-a-apply lamang po yan pag walang batas. Pag sabihin mo, kasi ang usage dito, jaywalking kami lahat. Kaya wala na yung law on jaywalking. Ang usage dito, lahat kami, dupang dito, humihitit kami lahat, kaya wala na yung drug law na yan. Hindi po pwede yan. Pag in-invoke po ang law, the law must be followed. Ito na nga hong exchange, pero napakaliwanag naman po. Ito, tinanong po sabi po ni Kong Atienza, deklarado po ba tayo kung sino ang majority at minority rito? Sagot ni Representative Farias. Transcript po ito. Malalaman po natin pagkatapos ng halalan dahil ang nakalagay po sa ating regulasyon, sa ating rules, kung sino ang boboto doon sa nanalong speaker, yon ang magiging mayorya. So, lahat po ng hindi boboto sa panalo, minority po sila. So, iyong matitirang iyon, sila ang mamimili ngayon kung sino ang kanilang magiging pangulo dahil iyon ay ayaw po nilang sumama sa mayorya. So, sila na ho ang bahala magsasabi kung sino ang minority leader. Di sana nag-object na ho kayo. Hindi. Dapat kung sino yung second place, siya na ang magiging minority leader. Hindi kayo nag-object Nakipag-partisipasyon nga kayo sa halalan Pagkatapos hindi manalo, sabi po ni Manong Edsel, 8 is more than 7. Pagsamahin mo yung 8 at 7 po, mas marami yung 30 o 20. Hindi po ba mas marami yung 20 kaysa 8 plus 7? Magsama na ho yung 8 plus 7, 15 lang po. Yung 20, ayaw dun sa dalawa Kahapon hindi siya, at saka very clear naman po na hindi po pinagbubutuhan kahapon ang minority leader. Paano naman po mauuna yung minority leader kaysa majority leader? Kaya nga after na elect, yung speaker tumayo po at pinarecognize ko po si kasama nating Ronnie Zamora para i-nominate niya yung majority leader. At ang sabi ng speaker, seconded. Meron objection? Wala. Unanimous kami. Di kayo rin ho sana sa minority, nag-nominate din kayo kung meron kayong gusto. Wala ho dahil mag-election pa kayo. Hindi pa kayo decided kaya wala nga kayong nominate. Pero ngayon, pagpapalusot kayo na yung nakakuha ng 8, demokrasya pa po yan. Is that democracy? Where you have 21 who did not elect for the speaker and 8 who voted a losing candidate for speaker, and 7 who voted for another losing candidate of speaker. And then all of a sudden you say, Boyla, Humberto is our minority leader. Magic na po yun. Napag-usapan ba natin doon sa butuhan na yun kung sino magiging minority leader? Hindi po. Speaker lamang po ang pinagbubutuhan doon. Kaya wag ho kayong magpalusot na yung natalong speaker, siya na ang minority leader. Di naman po, parang niloko naman. We would have fooled the 20 because before they voted, the majority leader expressed his opinion that anyone who will not vote for the speaker, whether he abstains or not, will constitute the minority. So, iyon po ang kanilang paniwala. So, hindi sila bumoto. And now, bumoto rin kayo. Di sana wag nyo na kasi, ba't nyo kasi ni-nominate? Si Congressman Bagilat, kung gusto niyo maging minority leader, gusto niyo maging speaker siya Did you not nominate? Did you nominate? Was Bagilat nominated for minority leader in this poll? No. He was nominated for speaker. How can he become the minority leader? When the rules clearly say that those in the minority shall elect their minority leader in the same manner that kami sa majority elected our majority leader. Yung opinion ko po, was supported by everybody here. Yung opinion nyo, wala naman nagsusupport. So we are all entitled to our opinions. But I happen to be the majority leader and you happen to be a member here who is, I do not even know, you are not representing the minority, you are only representing yourself. I represent the majority here of 251 members. So I think my opinion matters. And I am the chairman of the Committee on Rules. So, yung opinion na rin ninyo. But, nakaupo ko dito na matagal Meron si Opinion lang ni Majority Leader, kayo rin naman, opinion lang din yun. But then, tomorrow, they said, how come it's the majority distributing the invitation of the minority? Yes, because nothing happens in this plenary hall without my permission. I am the majority leader. I am the chairman of the committee on rules. Nagpaalam sila eh. Mr. Majority Leader, pwede po ba namin ipa-distribute sa page ito? Of course. Pa-distribute nyo. Because we honor the minority like we honor everybody here. And if you came to me also and asked me, pwede po ba, bakit natatakot po kayong mag-election? Has there been an election for minority leader? No. We only elected the speaker. But nung nakaraan po, ginawa ninyo yun at nakalusot, di okay lang po yun, but that was not proper. Katulad na nga na sinabi ni Honorable Lito Atienza, mali po yun. Wrong na procedure po. Very clear yung role, and we only adopted it yesterday again. Di sana sinabi nyo, when the Honorable Atienza asked me, and I clearly defined the position of the majority, temporary, albeit, majority leader na yung mangyayari po dito, yung hindi bumoto sa nanalong speaker, sila ay magsasama-sama at pipili ng kanilang leader na mayorya, di sana nag-object po kayo. Alam nyo naman po, maski first year lang in College of Law sa statutory construction, alam na po natin yan. Ang tawag po dyan, estoppel by silence. Naririnig nyo na may opinion na tiwala doon sa paniwala nyo, hindi kayo nagsasalita. Lalo na ito, deliberative body. You were there, you were sitting there. And I said, lahat na hindi boboto doon sa panalong speaker, they will be minority and they will elect their leader after that. Hindi kayo nagsasalita. O di sana nag-object kayo. Mali yan, opinion mo lang yan. Then we would have led the body to decide. And the body would have probably sided with me. Naturally, I am their leader. I am the leader of the majority here. And that is the essence of the democracy, the will of the majority. Ang problema po, minority kayo nire-respeto namin kayo, respetuhin nyo naman kami. Ilang kayo sa minority na hindi bumoto sa aming minamahal na speaker? 20, yung nag-abstain. Karapatan nila yun, ayaw nilang pumili. Dahil lang, wala naman silang kandidato for speaker. Ang kandidato nila for minority leader. Dahil wala pa naman yung kandidato nila, ba't sila buboto? Ayaw nilang bumoto Now, you refer to a last paragraph of the rule. Step by step po yan Ba't tumatalon po kayo Ang first paragraph defines who is majority. Ang majority ay lahat na boboto doon sa nanalong speaker at sila ngayon ay pipili ng kanilang majority leader. Sinabi ko pa dito, binagyan ko pa kayo ng Italian Latin words dito. What is not included is excluded, since those who did not vote for the speaker are not included in the majority, necessarily they are the minority. Whether they voted for Suarez, whether they voted for Bagilat, whether they did not vote at all because they did not want to vote for speaker, that was their right, but they are now the minority. And they will now elect their leader. So after they elect their leader, will of the majority po, maski sa minority. 7 plus 8, 15 plus 20, 35 kayo. Kunin nyo yung majority ng 35 na yun, yun ang magiging leader nyo na minority. How can 7 be the leader of 35? Or 8? How can 8 be the leader of 35? How can 8 votes lead 35? So, ganun po yun. Once they elect the minority, so clearly defined na ang majority and minority. Now, if you do not want to belong there, do not go to the minority, do not go to the majority, you can be an independent. Kasi after that election ng minority, tignan po ninyo, kasi you are confusing yourselves for your own purpose, but do not confuse us because we are clear. First paragraph defines who is majority. Babasahin ko na po para maliwanag. Members who vote for the winning candidate for speaker shall constitute the majority in the House, and they shall elect from among themselves the majority leader. The majority leader may be changed at any time by a majority vote of all the majority members. Even if I were elected yesterday, if they don't want me here now, another person can move that we have this as our majority leader. I can be changed anytime. First paragraph. Second paragraph, the minority leader shall be elected by the members of the minority and can be changed at any time by a majority vote of all the minority members. Sino po hindi nakakaintindi ng English na ito? Na ang minority leader kailangan ihalal ng mga bumubuo ng minorya. Napakaliwanag na English po ito. Siguro maski elementary, maintindihan niya ito eh. Hindi naman sinasabi na yung saan po ba sinasabi dito na yung matatalo siya maging minority leader? Wala. But yun ang naging interpretasyon, majority leader noon, na mali, at tinanggap niyo lahat. Pasensya na lang kayo. Pero ngayon, you have a majority leader who knows his roles. I have to invoke the roles, and you have to follow. Wala na yung, majority leader, dati pwede itong ganito. Dati, hindi naman ako majority leader ngayon. But ngayon, ako ang chairman ng committee on rules. Let us follow the rules. And you tell me, if I am not following the rules, then you can appeal my position to the chair. So after that, third paragraph, the majority and minority shall elect such number of deputy, majority, and minority leaders as the rules provide. Fourth paragraph, para buo po, step by step. A member may transfer from the majority to the minority or vice versa at any time. Kasi nga, na-define na naka-elect na majority leader, may minority leader na. Ngayon, kung hindi ka kontento, pwede kang umalis. You can transfer at any time, provided subject to 3 conditions. So, sabi niya, the concerned member submits a written request to transfer to the majority or minority through the majority or minority leaders as the case may be. The Secretary General shall be furnished a copy of the request to transfer. Letter B. The majority or minority, as the case may be, accepts. So kung gusto mo pong lumipat, magpapaalam ka doon sa grupo mo. So, maski nga ho yung mga nasa minority ngayon, na 35, kung gusto nilang sumama sa majority, magpapaalam sila. Pero saan sila magpapaalam? Wala, dahil wala pa silang leader. So kailangan mag-elect pa sila. So after mag-elect sila bukas, at ayaw nila yung leader nila, pwede na silang magpaalam. So magpapaalam sa minority leader. Ngayon, pag tinanggap naman namin sa majority, magiging majority na siya. Or vice versa, kung yung majority naman hindi natutuwa sa akin, lipat na ako sa minority, di payagan namin, tanggapin nyo doon, magiging minority. Then, next paragraph. In case the majority or minority declines such request to transfer, the concerned member shall be considered an independent member of the House. Ngayon, halimbawa yung nasa minority, gusto nilang pumunta sa majority, nagpaalam na, ayaw ta siyang tanggapin na majority, independent na siya dahil wala na siyang bahay. Or vice versa. Then the last paragraph, sabi niya, second to the last, in any case, it refers to committees. Whether or not the request to transfer is accepted, all committee assignments and memberships given the concerned member by the majority or minority, as the case may be, shall be automatically forfeited. Ito na po yung last paragraph na ini-invoke ninyo. Members who choose not to align themselves with the majority or minority. So, clearly defined na kayo bukas. May minority leader na kayo. May majority leader na. Ayaw niya pareho. Or shall be considered as independent members of the House. Ayaw na niyang sumama sa minority. Ayaw niya sumama sa majority. Kaya independent. Pero ngayon, pinipilipit po ninyo yung interpretation nyo by saying na yung mga hindi bumoto ng speaker, independent na yun. Hindi ho sila bumoto ng speaker dahil ang pinag-uusapan, speaker naman, wala naman po silang porsyonadang speaker, kaya hindi ho sila bumoto. You cannot force somebody to vote for a speaker if they don't want, but if he does not vote for the winning speaker, he will be part of the minority. Very clear po yung rule. So, yan po ang nangyari. The journal has been approved. So, Madam, Mr. Speaker, I've said my piece. I move that we adjourn our session until tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, July 26.
Mr.
The motion to adjourn, accepted by Chair. July 27. Correction, July 27 will be tomorrow.